With 100% of the world's current map explored, give or take a few hidden locations, it's time to prioritize hunting for survival and a spooky campfire story by the name of Signal Void. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more of The Long Dark in our Against All Odds series, where I have just woken up. As a matter of fact, I'm going to need to put that bedroll right back down, because it's the middle of the night, and I have water to drink, thankfully. I even have cattails to eat. I've got a lot of things to eat, to tell you the truth. Let's see. In terms of, like, what I'm lugging around, there's an argument to be made for drinking other things, or eating other things, rather. Let's go ahead and eat the stale salty crackers. God, just look at the thirst meter drop. That's just the most ridiculous amount of salt, and yet completely understandable. It is what it is. So, let's start by passing time for about, let's say 3 hours. I should be able to sleep for 2. That seems to be about the ratio. If you pass time for... Oh, that's not the sound I wanted to hear. Okay. Well, hopefully things will continue to get better over these 2 hours that I'm going to sleep. But yeah, if you pass time for 3 hours, rest for 2, that seems to be about the ratio. Maybe. Maybe I'm just making it up. Alright, I have a little bit of elegant porridge left. Sad that I'm already mostly through that, although I do think I can make at least one more bowl of porridge. I don't think I made all of the porridge I possibly could have. Let's take a look. Yeah, I definitely didn't. You can see that I can still make... I can make 2. Not 3, but 2. I just can't right now, because I don't have water. It's fine, though. It's fine. So let's go ahead and pass time for what? Another 2 hours? I don't love this idea. Yeah, so if I do that, now I can sleep for probably 1 and have a little bit of extra room. That really does seem to be the golden ratio. If you pass time for 3, then you sleep for 2. You can wake up fully rested. And I can probably science it even more than that if I wanted to. I've had some interesting discussions and just thinking out loud, including in this series, over the last couple of days with regard specifically to other codes that I might use in the future of this series and other Long Dark content on the channel, because I think there are things about the Against All Odds 7 code that have been fun, but there are things that have been maybe a little bit too far, outside the spirit of the series. I think one of the things I've mentioned already is that I like that I've built up some experience with the bow. And I think having experience with the bow and being able to hit things with the bow is important. And I'm, especially just over the last few episodes, when I learned what I did about the exact placement of arrows on those ptarmigan, like, okay, learn something about the aiming dot there that's counterintuitive, because you actually need to aim a little bit low with the bow at close range, just a teensy bit. Almost treat it like a rifle sight in some ways. Which, that doesn't necessarily make sense, but it makes sense in my brain. But, as much as I've kind of learned about the bow, I do miss the rifle. I do. I miss it not only because it adds a certain amount of fun and a certain kind of dimension to the gameplay, but also I think that when you look back on Against All Odds over the years, I think the rifle has always kind of been synonymous with the series in some ways. So that's one thing I'm considering tweaking. And then, as I've mentioned many times during the series, I think there are things that could be done differently with the code to make some of the survival mechanics a little bit less constant in their punishment, like the calorie burn, for example. That might be something that I tune down, but then everything that I tune down, if I give myself anything, I'll try to look for somewhere else in the code to counterbalance that and really create that interesting, immersive, believable, narratively compelling kind of survival sandbox that Against All Odds is really all about. Okay, let's go ahead and pass time till this is ready. I might be able to make some porridge, to be honest here. Let's see. Now we're going to need to put more fuel on this fire. I only have a few sticks, so I need to be careful with this. Still a pretty bad blizzard outside. That's no fun.
Man, this pack is getting kind of heavy.
Let's make some porridge. There's a certain amount of prep time, and then it's going to be 12 minutes until it's ready. Perfect. Let's just go ahead and eat that, and I should now have a warmth benefit. Nice. From that warm food. Love that. Of course, I can make more porridge, too, so I can do that. Need to be mindful of the fire, though. Yep. We're going to add a stick. And now we should be good to go. Yeah, weather outside is still frightful. Thankfully, I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to say it. We're all thinking it. I'm not going to say it. It's right in front of us. If you get it, you get it. Anyway, moving on. Let's go ahead and eat this porridge. I'm hoping that I'll get to enjoy the warmth benefit from this porridge, but that remains to be seen. So thankfully, that does give me a little bit more of an opportunity to rest. So let's do that. There goes the blizzard. Perfect. Okay. Well, you know what? That's not too bad in the grand scheme. We're not too encumbered right now. You know, one thing I should have been doing the entire time I was here is I should have had the hides down on the ground. I'm gonna have to get into that habit pretty intensely. No, I didn't just hit the C key to stand up from crouch because I've been playing a lot of Krasmophobia?
Sure
Phasmophobia. Why would you suggest that? That's absurd. Okay. If you see me, like, randomly pop open the clothes screen without a stated reason to do so, now you know what's up. It's that C key betraying me. Look, it's October, okay? We're having fun on the Discord. What else can I tell you? All right, I'm going to kind of explore this area a little bit more than I did the first time. One thing that I definitely noticed... Oh, I see some cattails over here. That's perfect. One thing I definitely noticed is that there don't seem to be predators. At least not right now. Remember that one thing that still has not happened, believe it or not, I've been saying this for most of the year in this entire series, said it many times throughout this series, one thing that still has not happened is we haven't seen the wildlife refresh. As far as where these animals show up that love to attack us and harass us and give us anxiety. And we have benefited for many years from kind of knowing where the animals might be everywhere in the world. And in some ways, changing the pattern of spawning for these animals will give us entirely new maps everywhere we go, even though the terrain will stay the same. Not knowing where the wolves are going to jump out is a big deal. All right, I've got to see what's going on up here. Because I mean, this might eventually lead to one of the other new zones. Maybe? Huh. Conductor's drop-off. That's a nice view, I guess. That mountain view needs a little bit of work. A little bit of work. That's okay. That sprite up there we'll live with. That one in the distance, that's a bit more 2014 TLD, if you ask me. But yeah, changing up the spawn patterns of all those animals is going to give us entirely new maps, because we won't know where we're safe. We won't know where the food is. We won't know where the threats are. All right, I'm going to try and hug this wall because I feel like there are probably other... I think I probably stayed, like, near the... Yeah, I definitely stayed close to the train tracks when I came through here the first time because I wasn't sure that there were no predators. But one thing we can definitively say is that we haven't heard a howl for a while. So... we'll run into a wolf shortly. Rest assured, probably the same one. I'm guessing the one that I killed with the arrow in mid-howl on my way in here has probably respawned. given how long I spent in the airfield. I would be genuinely stunned if that had not happened. Let's make our way this direction and see what happens. Oh, more cattails. Nice. Also, I can check for acorns. I didn't really do that thoroughly last time. Oh, wow. Lots of sticks. Holy crap. I didn't really stop to appreciate the fact that I was walking through a bunch of oak trees. I might have mentioned it in commentary, but I didn't stop and grab all the acorns, so we can do that. Because I think I have a fair amount of acorns in inventory waiting to be processed, so to speak. Waiting to be prepared. I have to say, I think I am already enjoying being outside of the Forsaken Airfield. That was a very cold zone. The entire world is cold at this point, but at least we're not in Forsaken Airfield anymore. Just to say it plainly. Overall, I think I really liked the zone. When you really stop and just think about the downsides, though, like what the main problems were. The zone being freaking cold was absolutely at the top of the list. Absolutely. Okay, so we're getting tons of acorns here. We can use the heavy hammer at the forge in Forsaken Airfield. Or not Forsaken Airfield, but Forlorn Muskeg.
I hate being cold, because I really do.
You might have said it, just not this episode. You probably say it once an episode, Jennifer. But not yet this one, so it's fine. It's fine. You're doing great, Jennifer. We believe in you. We've always believed in you. You're a god among voice actresses. I mean, survivors. I wonder how many people there are. It might be you, as I say this. I wonder how many people there are that have... Oh, there's a cave up there. Interesting. That have watched a lot of this series, or maybe the Against All Challenges series, but haven't watched a lot of the older Against All Odds content, and have just missed any references where I've explained why I call the female survivor Jennifer and the male survivor Mark. I'm sure that, I mean, I know there are people in that camp. I guess what I'm most curious about is how many there are. Okay, let's go up to that cave. Also, did I just hear ptarmigan? Did I just hear ptarmigan? I know there are bunnies back here. No, I think it's just stuff clanging around in my backpack. Alright, I gotta check out this cave. Because I need to rest anyway.
I've never felt so cold in my life.
Yeah, you have. You've actually been a lot colder, and recently. But, you know. I guess I can let you be dramatic. Interesting that this cave is up here, because this really is a transition zone. This is really much... It's very much, really much, very much out of the way. Feedwater Cave. Interesting name. Some rose hips, single rose hips, piece of cloth, reishi mushroom, some ketchup chips. Okay. It's fine, I guess. Tell you what, let's go ahead and put this down. And we will sleep for an hour just to warm up and recover some of that condition I just lost. I could heat a tea, but, like, I think honestly, like, I'm not very dissatisfied with my current situation. I do need to make sure that food-wise, especially water-wise, I'm not over-encumbered. Because I am slightly encumbered still. Mainly on account of some of the hides that I'm carrying around. Yeah, I think now that I'm going to be so mobile, it would benefit me whenever I stop, even asleep for an hour in a cave, just drop the hides, let them cure for a bit. Add a little bit to that timer. I just don't trust it after what happened with the hide in the basement. So the basement's wonky in some way in Forsaken Airfield, and I don't have an explanation yet because I'm recording ahead of schedule, so I'm sure we've had some discussion in the comments at this point. I don't have access to that discussion yet, or maybe we've talked about it on the Discord, who knows. But that, I really feel like that deer hide should be done. It should just be done. The fact that I'm still waiting for that one to cure makes me sad, because I have some deer hide items that, some deer skin items that would be reparable right now, if not for that. Okay. I'm going to stay close to the train here. I did this before, but I'm just trying to catch anything that might, maybe, perhaps be lootable. Looks like not. And I think I came up here before, but let's triple check. Is there anything back here? I mean, this seems like kind of a interesting... No, there's not. If there was anything to be looted where that train, where that car had fallen over, I think it would be a little bit more accessible. I think it would be just a little bit more accessible. That's my sense of things. Alright, so the first stop in this is Forlorn Muskeg. And in some ways, it's going to be the most difficult stop. We have 3 more towers to repair. You know, one thing I haven't done... Well, we don't have an Aurora right now, so I can't get out the transponder. Shortwave radio. Yeah, see? Not functional at the moment. Shocking no one. Do I still have that jerry can on me? I think I might. I might have kept that jerry can. Or maybe I dropped it immediately. Won't be the worst thing in the world if I still have it. But I just want to be kind of mindful of that. Okay. Well, it's dark. Very, very dark. Heading back into the transition zone. Although this is honestly... It's like one end of the transition zone. Hey, there's some coal that I missed on my first time through. Okay, well, hold on then. If I just missed that blind as a bat first time through, then that means there's probably more. Either that or I dropped that when I came through the first time. Nope, I totally didn't. I just missed the coal. It's a little bit more sparsely placed than you might expect, so that's fair. God, it's so nice to... Alright, I'm guessing this is a... Oh, wow. That is a marine flare, just straight up. Wasn't expecting that. Now, I could technically, if I wanted the... You know, this is one of the best opportunities I've had to just chop up a limb for firewood. If I wanted that firewood, I would totally just go for it. But I'm already a bit over-encumbered, so I don't think I'm going to worry about it. Okay, there's the coldness. Did I? Yes, I did. Okay. Just checking that real quick. Alright, still looking for coal, because it's now become much more painfully obvious to me that coal is capable of camouflaging in with this surface here. Unfortunately. I'm pretty happy with the amount of coal that I had access to in Forsaken Airfield. I don't think that it was a real issue. But still, it's funny to miss coal that I know I probably would have picked up. It's funny to see that and be like, I remember a time when that would have been handy to pick up, when I would have been happy to see that. So apparently I didn't. Alright, so we are approaching a possible encounter with a wolf here. Let's put this away. Still looking for coal. Could be camouflaged. It is officially cold again. Good lord. Just triple checking now that I know how well that's camouflaged. Any over here? No. Okay. So the wolf is going to be more or less straight ahead. Let's pick up that stick. I'll probably just have to shoot it, which is fine. I can do that. It's a bunny. Hello, bunny. How are you, friend? Okay, so this is where the wolf was. Wow, it's cold. And the wind is blowing exactly in my face. The wolf might not be back yet. The wolf might not be back yet. Which is surprising, but at the same time, there's an explanation. Because I do have respawn time tuned down to the minimum in this code. Or certainly one of the lower settings. Lower than is typical, even for Interloper. Interesting. Okay, yeah, I don't think the wolf is back. Either that or the wolf has a patrol route spanning this entire stretch, and the wolf is... Oh, I think I just heard a wolf. It's kind of hard because the wind is also howling. But the wolf might have a patrol route that goes all the way up and down the far side of this set of train cars. If that's the case, then the wolf might just be back in the corner. Oh, you're fine. You are fine. Alright, so there's that cave up there. I stopped there before, and I probably should stop there again. There's a reason that cave is there. There's a reason the game gives you that. Where'd that other one go? Oh, there he is. Oh, that's incredibly rude. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I needed to aim lower there. Because the arrow is going to go above the dot slightly. See? Aimed low. If anything, you would think you would expect the arrow not to go above the dot.
Wheat trees?
Again, hunting for survival at this point. It's going to be important. Alright, I'm going to put the bedroll down first. And get a fire going right here. Actually, wait. Before I get the fire going, let's get the meat first. So that I can be cooking it. You know? There we go. I'm a little bit close to that. That is unsettling. There we go. That's better. Alright, so we've got the fire.
Come on, little fire.
I probably don't need to use any of my coal, if I'm being completely honest. So, I don't know if you noticed, but both pieces of meat are not full size, so I only have to worry about cooking 2. And yeah, they're already done. Fantastic. As I tap my mic. Sorry if you heard that. Probably didn't come through too loudly, but I totally did. Alright, let's see. I'm not going to worry about the guts, because the guts will actually be smelly. And that's more trouble than it's worth. Let me just make sure that I'm not imagining having... Yeah. I knew it. I had a feeling that there was a hide that I hadn't fully harvested. Alright, 34 minutes left on the fire. Let's see. How much water do I have? Enough. I have enough water. I'm not that tired, all considered. Which kind of makes me sad. There's more traveling that I have to do. I think because the weather's decent, rather than stay here and try to sleep now, I think what I'd rather do... Let's prepare these reishi mushrooms just to have some warm tea. We'll drink this. Thankfully I had just a sliver of thirst. I know, treatment didn't do anything. I'm going to keep going. I know, I'm going to keep going. Because I think that if I push forward, I'll still mostly be in a tunnel system. This way I can be a little bit more tired when it's finally time to sleep, and then wake up and it'll be daytime. Gotta kind of manage that a little bit. I think, see, the exhaustion on this code, if I recall correctly, it's been hundreds of episodes, but I think the exhaustion is already tuned down relative to Interloper. And I actually think that exhaustion in Interloper is tuned down from Stalker, so I think it might be tuned down even relative to Stalker. So, well, that's not really a good way to put it, because it's counterintuitive. You would think, okay, well, Interloper, everything's harder. Not necessarily. In Interloper, actually, exhaustion is less punishing as a mechanic. So what I'm saying is, I think I made it even less punishing than Interloper, which makes it even less punishing than Stalker also. But, honestly, I think one of my experiences with this is that it's not that it's necessarily less challenging. Because now we have this situation where I'm not that tired. I can't recall for sure if that's the case. I might just be using that, like an Interloper setting perhaps. But I've got my eye on that kind of balance. And for future content on the channel, that's going to be one particular setting that I want to explore. Okay, so I can go back through this cave. Or we can take the shortcut here. I don't know for sure that I'm going to change that, by the way. I'm just saying that's a setting I've got my eye on. That's something that I could change that might help, that might give us some interesting new directions content-wise. You know? That's what I'm saying. Foundered track. Let me up. I know I can do this. I've done it before. So apparently there is a way to get up this. Hang on. I need a lantern. I need a lantern for visibility purposes. Yeah, so here's this shortcut. There is apparently a way to do this. If you go all the way over... This rock is where it gets interesting. It's this rock where I feel like, how do you get past that? And see, now we're even on a lower rock. So if you're trying to climb this, and you come all the way up here. Hang on. I must know. Okay, that's the cliff. So, you know, I don't want to wander in that direction. But we can come over here, right? We can walk up on this side of the rock. See, there's the climbing rope we just passed there. Now... Okay. Alright. Making progress. It's this rock that's a bit of a pain. And it's not obvious to me how one would do it. Interesting. The climbing in the long dark, like on rocks like this, is incredibly fickle. Like, you can really trick the game's system into kind of platforming with you. Alright, I'm going to mess with that later. But apparently there's a way to do it. You just have to be very, very determined. And I'm currently determined to go the other direction. So that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so here's another pry bar. I'm not going to pick that up. Good lord. There's a simple parka, which I might be able to harvest for cloth, but I just don't feel the need to at the moment. Let's keep heading towards this railway tunnel. And as I trudge into the darkness of Surfeit Trestle here, I'm assuming that's how that's pronounced. As I trudge into the darkness, it's the middle of the night. I'm moving back towards Broken Railroad, and eventually another pry bar. There you go. And eventually Forlorn Muskeg, and our first objective of Signal Void. But then, of course, we have to wait for Auroras to actually find anything with our handheld radio. So I'm going to go ahead and stop this episode here. In the next one, I'm going to see just how quickly I can get back through the Broken Railroad and Forsaken Airfield. Well, not Forsaken Airfield, but Forlorn Muskeg. I'm going to keep... It's the 4 at the front. I'm going to keep mixing those two up. Which, the zones are nothing alike. It's kind of funny. But let me peek back in here just to be sure. But yeah, I'll stop this one here. And in the next one, we have more to be found, hopefully. Assuming we can get all the way back to Forlorn Muskeg, which we might be able to, if the weather permits us. We'll just have to see. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. If you're not new here, look for the join button for access to channel unique emotes, badges, and other perks. New episodes drop every day but Wednesday at 1 p.m. US Eastern Time, and comments are always welcome, so leave your thoughts below, and I'll see you next time.